way that I shoot my music videos, I want them to look like films. I want to shoot film.
Yeah.
Movies.
So is that your end goal? Go into more films, short films, or like
big fucking feature films?
Hi mate, how are you?
I'm great, thank you, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. Thanks for coming on. So,
Pleasure to be here.
introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Aiden. I'm a cinematographer from South Wales.
Oh, cinematographer. How do you officially class yourself as a cinematographer?
I believe that there's a difference between being a videographer and being a cinematographer. So I would put the difference at like the way you light scenes, the way you frame scenes, kind of all of the pre-production stuff that goes into then the production itself, So I don't know. I just believe that being a videographer is kind of more of a run and gun kind of scenario.
Kind of more what I'm doing still then at the moment.
Yeah, I'd say so. I like to shoot cinema, so my music videos I try to make, films.
So did you start off as a videographer and then kind of transition into the cinematography kind of thing?
Yeah, but I believe so. I mean, I was just shooting music videos for my friend because he was shooting my music videos as well. We were both musicians at the time, and we kind of going back and forth using his camera. And it was just more picking up a camera and not even knowing the settings or anything, and just hitting record and going from there.
So that's how you got into it.
Yeah.
Quickly, just move that cable, like because you're swaying your leg. We'll keep this in though.
Okay.
Keep this in the podcast.
Sure.
So like I come across your stuff on Instagram. I didn't realize you're a good friend of Tap as well, who was also on the podcast last week. Mm-hmm. Like have you found it easy or hard to like kind of build a community or like come into the world without a community in maybe South Wales area? Because that's particularly what I found hard. Is when I first started off 3 years ago, there wasn't much of a community. Like how have you found it? Do you bounce off other people, or you kind of just started off as a free range kind of spirit and then kind of evolved into like maybe networking with people?
Yeah, so I mean, building a community was it was difficult and it wasn't. Because like I said, I was a musician before, so I was around artists, and I kind of knew how to act around them as well.
Yeah.
So that was the good part of it. But at the same time, trying to build a community, with my own content, I thought was really, really difficult. When you first start, no one really gives you the opportunity to showcase what you can do. Yeah. So, everything that I did for about 6 to 8 months was just totally free or just very, very minimal. To try and start building.
Because I've done some scrolling for your Instagram. I mean, it does look very cinematic indeed.
Thank you, man.
And then I delved a little bit deeper. And I saw you're selling your LUTs on your website.
That's right. Yeah.
Is that like a passive income that you're trying to like obviously to make alternative money from like your actual main cinematography kind of stuff? Mm-hmm. Like how did you go about maybe thinking, I'm going to start doing like presets and LUTs and stuff? Does it take a lot to actually put it out there in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, like when you're actually growing, not growing, but creating the LUTs and the kind of the presets themselves. Mm-hmm. A lot of work goes into it, but I suppose the more you grow a community and kind of like I hate saying this, but I'm going to say fan base. It's as cringy as it is. It's a lot easier to sell because, you're then posting examples of your work with those kind of LUTs or presets applied to them.
Okay.
And people are always messaging me like, yo, that color grading's sick. I love that edit. And it's like, okay, well, now you can buy it for this very, very cheap price.
Do you get much income from it? Obviously, you're not like a typical YouTuber. Mm-hmm. And like you see, obviously, if you're in the industry that we are in, obviously you're cinematography, I'm more videography, but even like photographers, if you go and watch those channels on YouTube, a lot of the big timers are making those LUTs and presets. Mm-hmm. Do you find that you might get much income from it, or is it just a nice little background builder?
It's done pretty well.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
It's good, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you jammy bastard!
It's just all about kind of showing what you can do with them. I like to post examples with kind of on my website of like, oh yeah, you can achieve this by just kind of changing the exposure or changing the contrast or just dimming the highlight and stuff like that. It's worked out better for beginner photographers because I'm a photographer as well as a filmmaker. But it's done well in kind of the amateur community.
Yeah, because I would by no means say I'm a professional, because I still do, if I see someone that I enjoy watching their content, I think, oh my God, that footage looks sick. I think I want the same look. I pretty much go and buy their LUTs. I haven't got thousands, but I'd more be paid like for 5, 6,
Sure,
creator pack LUTs basically.
of course, yeah.
So like it is definitely worth the money and to
Yeah.
invest in. So like rolling back the years, obviously, how old do you say you're? 24?
I'm 24 in September.
He's only a young pup. He's 24. And how did you get into this whole industry?
I loved watching, people create. I got a friend, his name's Kieran, and fucking, can I swear on this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
just put explicit on Spotify.
Awesome. And, when we were kind of creating those music videos and just going on photo shoots and things like that, I was really, really invested in kind of the post-production process as well, And that's kind of how I got into it. And then me and Kieran fell out, and I didn't have that creativity
Right, okay.
with anybody else. It was just kind of me, and I had no means of creating. So my mum actually bought my first camera
Oh, go on.
from
What was
CEX. Yeah.
What was
My God,
it?
it was awful. I don't even think they exist anymore, but it's a Sony Alpha A65, not 6500, just
Right.
A65.
At least it was a Sony.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
least it was a Sony.
Exactly.
It could have been a Nikon.
Yeah. Mate, I'd rather just shoot on a fucking BlackBerry.
Just might as well just shoot on your phone.
Yeah.
So you started off with a friend of yours, Kieran. So you just touched upon you've done more music stuff. Have you kind of followed that through now? Because obviously, looking at your Instagram, you're heavily influenced by music, and kind of that's the avenue you take.
Yeah. So I'm a music video film director.
Yeah.
By heart, but that's kind of my bread and butter. That's what makes me the most money. That makes me the most creative and stuff. I can shoot anything. Anyone can shoot anything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of honing in that craft. I recently shot a music video with an artist from Cardiff, amazing singer, and
Is it that lady? Is it a lady? There's a lady on your Instagram profile.
Black lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
Yeah. What's her name?
Miss Faith, her name is.
Yeah, because some of that looks sick. Just even like the thumbnails that you just put up on Instagram look really good.
Oh yeah. Mate, I'll show you this video. I'll show you the video when we finish the podcast. But it genuinely looks Hollywood. The color
bragging.
grade,
He's
the
bragging,
mate. But I'm sat at the side of a car with my cinema camera is £10,000, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hanging out the car.
What camera you got?
It's a Canon. It's a Canon cinema camera.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. I'll leave you to kind of Google what one it would be. Try and have a guess. Leave it in the comments. But mate, I'm hanging out the side of the car, right, going like 40 miles an hour down Brecon Beacons, right?
Where'd you go in Brecon Beacons? Abergavenny, born and bred, I am, so I know it quite well.
I think it might have been down that way rather than kind of the Cardiff and Newport way.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I can't remember exactly where it is, but yeah, we were going down like 40 miles an hour. I'm hanging out the side of the car, shaking like this because I'm scared I'm going to drop it.
Oh yeah, you'd be crapping your pants.
Oh, going, yeah, exactly. Wow, that kind of rustic car that Tapan's been posting.
Oh, it's
that
like a
old
Beetle. It's like an old school VW Beetle, 1960s.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's that bloody movie? The yellow thing, it's like Herbie the Beetle. Or
oh
something.
right, Hervey. Yeah.
It's basically one of those guys. But yeah, crack on.
We used that car for the music video.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
Yeah, the driver's name's Aaron, so shout out to Aaron. I absolutely love that guy. We used that car, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks sick.
Yeah.
So, like, going back to that particular music video, obviously you shot other ones, we'll touch upon them. How do you go about the whole, for people trying to maybe learn, maybe to go into music, video production mainly, how did you start firstly, and how did you mainly then niche down to be, like, Aiden the music video kind of guy? Or did it just happen?
It kind of just happens. I shot this just kind of like fun little video.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what it was, but it was. I started on the first month of lockdown.
Right.
Professionally, but really just dived into it. So it's coming up to it's about 3 years now, but I was just shooting videos for just like Instagram content and stuff like that. And someone messaged me and was like, "Yo, do you shoot music videos?" And I was like, "I can. I can try." And it kind of just all spiraled from there.
And then like, so then you posted that work, and then more people then got in touch with you, and you got a name for yourself.
That's right. Yeah.
And do you shoot mainly your stuff in South Wales, or I have seen that you do go up to London quite a bit as well. Talk to
Yeah.
us about that. Is that the more high end clients? Because I tell you, a video I saw on your thing was a Welsh guy, I think, and it was like a Christmas video, and he's very extra, and he's got, on the video. There's like two like girls dressed up in Santa outfits, like Mr. Santa outfits. Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
do you know what I'm on about?
That guy's actually, I'm gonna say South African. I know he's not, but it's kind of that area. Um, yeah, it's about that area, Jamaican or something like that.
Yeah.
He's from London as well.
Right, okay.
Well, he lived in China for a bit, but he moved to London. So he reached out to me. I was on set for another music video, and I got a message saying, "Hey, look, so I need a music video.
Yeah.
This is my budget. You know, it was a decent budget."
Oh, is it nice?
And he was just like, "Yeah, just come up and we'll shoot it." So a week after, I went up to London and shot all of that. He paid for, I always make a point to have the client pay for my travel and accommodation if I
Yeah.
need to stay there,
Good show. Good show.
as well as being paid full on top,
Yeah.
because, it's, if you're hiring someone who's good at what they do, you kind of, and it needs to be spread across a couple of days, that I can't let that affect kind of my earning as well, because that pays for the gear.
So, what is your full planning process from day one, getting the client to actually delivering the project? Talk through the different steps if anyone's listening that obviously wants to know what it takes to get the client all the way through to delivering the end product. So talk like pre-planning shots.
Of course.
You know it.
So they would reach out to me.
Yeah.
They'd say, "Hi, so I'm looking for a music video."
Cool.
I'm just, speaking like very frankly, but
Yeah.
this is my budget, or they'll say, "What's your price?" or something. So I always make it a point to say, "I don't have a rate. What is your budget?"
Right, okay, that's a key point.
Yeah, and if it's, say, like, I don't know, like $3,000 or something, you got to think like, okay, that'll work for me, or okay, that's not enough. Can we make it this? So
And
it's
if it isn't
negotiating.
enough, is there things that you say like, this is my minimum, but obviously if you are looking to pay the minimum, you're obviously not going to get, the final product's not going to be what you wanted. There are going to be things that can have to suffer from obviously the budget not being that big.
I turn it down.
You turn it down. So what's your cut-off point?
Probably 1,200.
Oh, fair. So that's for a date. Is that all? Is that the whole thing?
That would be the whole thing.
The whole editing.
Yeah.
So like, obviously you arrange the client, and then do you go about making like a shot list and stuff? Like, do you actually speak to the client, maybe get a client brief of like what the video is going to be about? Do you listen to the music a lot? Like, what is the process behind creating all that?
So listening to the music is definitely such an important step for planning.
Yeah.
Because you don't need second opinions, but I think when you're a director, you should know what works and what doesn't, and what's relevant and what's not. So, you sit and you think for maybe 2-3 days, listening to it over and over again, and you kind of like, if you kind of stuck for inspiration, just go on Pinterest and type in like cinematic photography or something like that, and it'll give you examples of different stuff.
So is that where you go to find a lot of like maybe your inspiration? Is it like Pinterest? Is there any other
Instagram Reels, TikTok,
Reels,
other creators? Yeah.
Do you ever go on like? Well, it's just more for like the graphic design kind of people. But I went on Behance.
Oh yeah.
That's where I drafted up this logo for this podcast. Like, I just
no way.
got the inspo from there.
Yeah.
So you find a lot of inspo from maybe other content that is shot, and then you kind of obviously make it your own. When you go about shooting, do you have a large crew, or is it just mainly you, or do you have like a soundy or anything?
Just myself.
And what are you using mainly? Is it run and gun, or is it a handheld, a gimbal?
It really depends on the location and what kind of shot we're going for. So, we can't have like, if we need an intense chase scene, for example, you can't shoot it all on a gimbal. You need that handheld movement, because camera movement is what sells that shot.
Right, got you.
You can't have, I don't know, a fight scene and like
All on a gimbal or steady
exactly, because it just looks shit. You want to feel those hits as the viewer, so I'll do that. I'll kind of compile a shot list, and it's something called a treatment, which is, I guess, just
I've heard of that. Yeah, touch upon that a bit more.
So it's more or less just like a detailed plan with references, reference photos, reference videos, kind of what acts or scenes is going to be in what kind of the end goal, the concept of the
Yeah.
video, the feeling, the aesthetic, the outfits, everything like that. So I'll do all of that.
Right. Okay. So how much does
Yeah,
a lot of the pre-planning take before you actually press record on that actual camera? How much goes? How much work goes into it all?
about a week.
Oh, a week, so it's
About
not
a
too
week.
bad.
Yeah.
And then that's obviously included in the cost of the 1,200.
Yeah.
So you've been. How long have you been in the music video kind of scene for?
Just shooting.
Yeah, just shooting.
Yeah, probably since I started.
And what would
Yeah,
you say your
3 years.
most biggest project is? Because I did see that you went to Iron Apple recently.
That's right. Yeah. So I was.
Was that this year? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this year.
I
Yeah.
just came back 2 weeks
Oh my
ago.
god.
Well, 1 week ago. Sorry.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't know what your tan is. Your tan's a bit.
Yeah, bro. I stay in the
Terrible
shade.
tan.
I stay in the shade. I'm
Oh, I
scared.
don't blame you. I don't blame you.
It was so hot out there. So hot. Yeah. So I was with. Do you remember So Solid Crew?
Yeah, I remember so one of them. I swear when they go all those reality TV programs these days, don't they?
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
crack on. So Solid Crew.
So I was with Ames or Sniper or AMS Sniper. He changed his name a couple of times,
Yeah.
but his name's Ames now, and he was one of the guys from So Solid Crew.
Right. Okay.
I was out there with him. Wiley was supposed to be there.
Wiley is sick from back in the day as
Oh
well.
God, yeah, yeah. I've got his number actually.
Brag.
I know. I'm just gonna name drop everybody that I know that's famous. Artie was there. Bass Boy was there, which I didn't even realize he was there until I seen myself on his story. I was like, what the fuck?
Wait, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Who's this guy with me on his story?
Exactly. You know, who's that sexy motherfucker? But yeah, and a couple of other big people. And that was wild. But yeah, they flew me out. They got me an apartment for
So
a
who
couple of
flew you
days.
out? How'd you get booked for that gig?
Ames messaged me on Instagram.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, he was watching my stories and he was just like, "Yo, your stuff is absolutely sick. I want to fly you out." I was
Right,
like,
okay.
"All right then, do it." So he did.
And then go on, talk for the process of that whole thing. Were you there for like a festival, or what was it? What was it you were there for?
It was so Ames owns the biggest water park in I think Europe. And it's the only kind
And
of
this is the So Solid Crew guy.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
What a random thing to own.
exactly.
Fair enough, like properties and stuff, but a water park.
Yeah, exactly. But he's got something called like the wave pool party.
Right,
So it's
okay.
kind of this massive pool that has a wave machine in there that works with like the music and stuff.
Right. Oh, okay, fair.
So he wanted that because he had Artie there and a couple of other people. And yeah, he was just like, "Can you come film this event?" But I wasn't shooting a music video. It was kind of not a music video. I wasn't shooting just like any kind of video. I didn't know what I was going to shoot because he
okay.
didn't tell me what to shoot. And I asked and I said, "Yo, do you want to meet for coffee and things like that?" He was like, "No, no, don't worry about it. It won't fit in my
bring your
schedule and
camera
stuff.
kind
Just
of
bring
thing."
your camera and just shoot." So I was like, "Okay then." So I shot photos, which Artie just posted as well on his Insta.
Do you ask them to kind of tag you in it to maybe get a bit more publicity, or is kind of just word of mouth work a lot better for you?
Oh wow, word of mouth is so powerful.
Yeah.
But working with those kind of names,
Yeah.
you kind of need to be tagged.
So like kind of, your like clients that come to you, would you say like 80% word of mouth and then like maybe 20% coming through like your social channels, or like how do you kind of like network yourself? How do you?
I'd say it's about 60-40.
Right, okay.
60 being word of mouth, 40 being Instagram.
And then you do that mainly through obviously delivering high quality content for people to see, and they say like they then recommend to go and see you.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's pretty much your game plan. Mm-hmm. So like what kind of things would you say to young people wanting to start out? How would you advise them to try and get into the business or the industry? Would you say niche down straight away, or would you say maybe cover a lot of different topics, whether it be like property, shooting commercials, shooting like just general interview stuff or music videos?
The only thing I would say is shoot everything and bite the fucking bullet.
Yeah.
Because you just need to discover that yourself, I really threw myself in and really made it something that I needed to depend on because Fielder wasn't paying me enough,
Right, okay.
When
So what was your job before?
I was working in a chip shop.
Oh, fair.
Yeah,
Fair.
just in Perth Call. But,
I
I...
do love some chips, man.
Oh, yeah, you and me both, bro. I've got tits now. But, yeah, so I quit that and that was I was living by myself at the time and that was the only thing that
Okay.
I knew I needed to just do it and get it done.
So you're shooting, you learn on shooting. What kind of editing do you go YouTube and kind of like try and absorb as much stuff as information, or are you just like grabbing the camera, out you go, and just shoot random stuff?
It it's a bit of both. If I have something in mind that I want to kind of execute, I'll do it myself first
Okay.
and try and learn it like that, or I'll watch YouTube videos if I'm really struggling.
Yeah.
But YouTube is so powerful if you're looking to learn. I learned
Yeah,
so
100%.
much.
I learn a lot of stuff on it, like doing all effects and stuff. But the thing is, I learn it all on YouTube. I watch the video for like an hour and then meticulously go back and forth between YouTube and Premiere.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And then you come a month later and you forget completely how to do it because it's not like in your standard kind of editing process.
No, but once you know, after a couple of
Yeah.
oh wait, there we
Go on, I'll just talk over it.
Okay.
We'll keep this in the pod.
Sorry, if you can hear noise, there's someone drilling across the street. Sorry, what was I saying again? Right, yeah. So if you're learning, you got to do it so many times.
Okay.
It's parrot fashion at that point. But then when you have it in an edit and you've posted it,
Yeah.
people know you can do it. So it's there's nothing wrong with kind of just going back and relearning how to do it.
Yeah, so you got to basically stay on top of the ball and just keep learning the new processes. So when you're shooting your music videos, kind of talk me through like your equipment. Like what are you taking with you on a shoot? What's your essential camera bag for a shoot for a music video?
That's a good ass question. Oh my god. So if it's a daylight shoot that's going into a night shoot, for example,
Yeah.
I will bring two tube lights. I'll bring a panel light with like color gels and stuff. I'll bring the cinema camera, or if it's a hybrid shoot, I'll bring the DSLR.
Right, okay.
18 to 35 1.8 from Sigma Art. That is a Sigma Art. Probably a 50mm 1.4
Yeah.
Sigma Art again. That's about it, really. I'll only
So
really
you're not taking too much with you. Are you meticulously shooting absolutely everything, or are you kind of pre-planning the shots out when you actually beforehand?
Yeah, so everything would be planned to a T.
Yeah.
I forgot a gimbal and a drone as well.
So you fancy yourself as a drone pilot as well?
Oh god, mate, I'm everything.
You've got to be everything. And then obviously, music video wise, you're not obviously capturing the audio. That's just then played back over at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty straightforward. So you're just, how many times would you say they do the sing song through or the talk through of each song so you know you've got enough footage?
As many times as it takes. The most times would be about like 7 or 8 takes of that kind of particular scene. But as soon as I know it could be the first take,
Yeah.
I'd be okay. Let's move on. I know I've got that.
And you do like multiple locations, or you just it depends on the shoot, does it?
Depends on the shoot again. Yeah, I mean, like I've shot a music video in kind of there's something called an Infinity Cove, which is kind of just white everything, and I've shot an entire music video there. It's just in London.
Where would you say your favorite locations are to shoot music videos? Do you like the studio kind of setup, or do you prefer more like out actually in the real world kind of shooting a music video? Like you said, you've been to the Brecon Beacons, you've done studio stuff. Like which one's your favorite?
I would probably say outside.
Yeah.
Because I love natural light.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to set up so many lights to be able to make skin color, not skin, just the skin look good and just things like that. Sunset, golden hour or blue hour.
Yeah.
I love
Shit
shooting.
hot.
Yeah.
And do you then obviously color grade all your stuff as well, or do you find an external?
No, I color correct and color grade myself.
Because I wouldn't say my color grading is very good at all. Like mine's the base,
I disagree. I disagree.
Well, it's all right. It does the job. It does the job. But obviously you're using that nice cinema camera, so you can.
That's right. Yeah.
I think I've got a thought of what cinema camera it is. You said it was 10 grand.
It's about 10 grand. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of like the same prices of an FX6. It's like the C70.
I would love the C70.
Is it more than 10 grand? The C70?
No, it's
it's like,
5.
Yeah, it's not.
It's 5.5.
So you gone big time with that then. And was that a big investment? How many jobs did you have to get to basically save that up?
5 or 6.
Oh, so I just pocket change for you.
No, it's not. I mean, I've I've got a family as well, so I need to support them. But I kind of like I bit the bullet and I was like, fuck
Making
it.
that investment.
Yeah, I need to. I've got a shelf full. I've got 3 cameras. I've got multiple GoPros and like DJI Osmos, and I've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
tube lights and so many studio lights and multiple gimbals and drones and this shelf full of lenses. And it's like, I just bought everything that I thought. Every time I evolve, I'm like, I need that, I need this, and this YouTuber uses that, or this creator uses that, and it's like, I need that, and it's like, I don't at
Yeah.
all. Gear isn't fucking hell, I don't know why I said it like that. Gear isn't such.
Essential.
Yeah, it's not an important thing. I was shooting on a fucking that Sony. Sorry, excuse me. That is 14 years old. And it worked absolutely fine. I mean, the autofocus was a bit shit, but
Gotta rely on that autofocus when you first started out.
God no.
What was one of the biggest learning curves then when you first started out? Was any big hiccups you had along the way? Like I remember doing my first paid shoot. I say shoot, it wasn't a shoot, but my first paid gig was like £100. Let my mate's camera I was filming his podcast on.
Sure.
But because it was in a controlled environment like we are now, I was so used to just knowing exactly what the settings was. But when I took it outside, Jesus Christ. I didn't know anything about ND filters. Didn't know anything about bringing the exposure down or like chucking the the shutter up. Like, what was one of your biggest learning curves? Kind of doing what you are now.
Camera wise, I think I was pretty clued up on
Yeah.
first. 180-degree rule.
Yeah.
So frame rate always double the shutter speed.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know.
Or
But I
vice
just
versa.
go on. Tell the viewers at home the 180 shutter.
So, for example, if you're shooting at 25 frames a second or 24 frames a second, your your shutter speed should be 1/50 or 1/48. Same with, slow motion, kind of crank up that shutter. So if you're shooting, say, 50 frames a second, it should be 1/100 or 120.
Yeah. So basically, most films are shot in 124 frames because that's what our eyes find the most visually pleasing.
23.7 something.
Oh, you can put that 0.7 in there. So you pretty much were clued up on cameras when you started, but what was the big learning curves and the big hiccups along the way, kind of to get to the point you are now?
Take deposits.
I still don't take deposits. So take deposits when you big things. Do you do contracts then as well?
Always, always, always work with a contract,
Yeah.
especially if you're starting. It will save your life, genuinely. Probably not that drastic, but oh my God, yeah. I've had one of my clients recently be like, okay, I will pay you after the video's done. And it says, no, clearly it says on the contract that you've signed and read over multiple times that you've talked through with management that it says I will take full payment before I even touch an edit.
So yeah, obviously contracts is a big kind of thing that you do when you get new clients on board. Talk through the process of, how they go about paying the contract, what kind of deliverables are within it from your side, and also the money aspect of them actually paying the deposits ready for you to go ahead and film.
So I think that So I think that contracts are so important when working with a client because you're both on the same page. You both know exactly what you're expecting. You both got, deadlines are on there, deposits are on there.
So you're breaking down all these things individual. So you got your deadlines. What else you got on there? Just like
revisions.
Right. Okay.
So if I haven't done a deal with you, let's say like 2 videos for $2,000 or something like that, rather than like 2,400 or something.
Yeah.
It would be less revisions on there. If you're paying me less, I'm going to do the less work, So it says, let's say 3 is a standard revision mark, Anything after that is 50 quid.
So then obviously that revisions is basically if the client's not happy with the first draft, they got 3 more goes at it or telling you or giving you the feedback that you need to make and polish the video.
Exactly.
And anything over, I'm assuming you then put in the little T's and C's, the extras.
Yeah.
So you've got like the revisions. What else you put in that contract to make sure obviously it's all consistent?
Copyright.
Copyright,
because I've been burnt from it before. I shot a music video for a client in Bristol.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, yeah, I absolutely love the edit that you've done. Can you send me the raw clips just so I can have a look through and and stuff like that, and kind of pick up my favorite clips for you to use? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. So I sent it all. Fucking stupid mistake. Oh my God. Release her own version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was you
Awful.
feel? And did you have a contract in place for that particular one?
I didn't.
I remember once, and I still haven't had my money from it. I think I quoted like 800 quid on it. It was like an in-house, basically kind of this kind of studio now, but I was doing it in my bedroom. It's like these lightsabers.
Oh, sure, right.
But like top end, like Comic Con lightsabers, they sell for like 250 quid. But long story short, I was doing basically this person wanted each individual lightsaber on their website, but with like a little video of like rotating on like a lazy Susan
Oh,
and stuff
sure,
like that.
yeah.
Stupidly, I didn't sign the contract with him, and I also done the videos. I didn't deliver all the videos to him. However, I delivered like 3 or 4, and then obviously give the lightsabers back because I think I had like 10 grand worth of lightsabers. But then he just absolutely like blanked me,
Ghosted you, yeah.
ghosted me, released 2 of the videos, and then come back 6 months later saying, "Oh yeah, I sold the business."
Yeah, but that's not your problem.
Yeah, exactly. And ever since I've tried chasing it, and I just never seen that money.
Exactly. So yeah, that's one thing I do. That fucking sucks, by the way. I hate it when clients do that, especially ghosting. It's kind of like just say yes or no in it.
Yeah.
Kind of let you know you're on the same page. But I always include that I own the
Okay.
unedited footage. All raw footage is owned by that camera operator.
Right, got you.
All of it, industry standard. It's also an industry standard that the raw footage is worth 100%, 150% of the entire project. Let's say I shot a music video for 1,000,
Right, okay.
and someone said, "Okay, can I have the raw footage?" I says, "Yeah, sure, you can buy it for 1,500."
Okay, I didn't know that.
That's completely separate. Raw footage is separate.
So you say for example, we'll go back to the contract thing, but say for example, they paid you your day rate of like 1,000.
Yeah.
That just for you and your experience and how you know how to operate that particular camera, and then if they then wanted the physical raw footage, is then that an
That's a separate
extra separate?
That's right.
So obviously that wouldn't include. Technically, you could edit the video. They pay your costs, and they'd have the video. That'd be all included. But then if they wanted the raw footage on top, you're making those extra.
Yeah, you'd be looking about 2,500 then. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, you've got to.
Do you do that often then? Do you sell the raw footage on, or they just kind of, maybe they don't have the budget, so then you just kind of leave it there and you give them the final cut?
Yeah, as soon as the client approves it, I delete everything.
Right, you don't
Delete it.
back
I
it
don't.
up.
I don't need it.
Oh, fair.
I'll keep the edit, but if as soon as they say, "Oh, that's absolutely perfect," signed off on it and everything's perfect, I'll wait about a month or 2, and then I'll say
okay.
it's not needed. It's out. I don't need it anymore. Just get rid of it.
So you give them that threshold, like the 2 months kind of thing.
Yeah.
So then back to contracts. You've talked about the retainer stuff. What other key aspects in contracts do you put in there so both parties are happy with what obviously is going to be the final project?
That's really it.
Yeah.
As long as you know what you're paying, when the deadline is, for me to have that delivered, the revisions, and what we just discussed.
And then what are the kind of not payment plans, but basically, when is your first payment? Do you then have a full payment before shoot, or do you have like one halfway through the year, or like what do you do regarding payments?
I get deposit, then plan.
Is that 10%, 20%?
It really depends on how much it is.
Right. Okay.
If I like I said, if I do like 1,000, I'll take 250 quid.
Yeah.
Something. I like being paid in bulk at once.
Right, got you.
But I also need that kind of little bit, so I know that the client's not going to ghost me, and I know that I'm not going to plan this video just to get ghosted and shit like that. And then I've sent it off, and the client has the fucking video plan. So
Yeah, you'd be fuming about that.
God, yeah, and
So
it's happened.
You get the payment straight away, and then when do you get the actual full main whack of it? How close to shoot?
As soon as I touch on set.
Right, okay.
As soon as I get there, I'm there to do a job. With Amazon, you're not going to fucking try it and then be like, okay, now I'll pay.
So you won't actually turn up. Will you actually turn up on the set if you haven't been paid, or you turn up on the set and be like, my bank balance is still...
I'll turn up on set. I'll say, okay, I'm here, so let's just get this payment out of the way and we'll get cracking with shooting.
Okay,
and if they
cool.
say, oh, I'll pay you tomorrow or something, I'll be like, no, we'll shoot tomorrow then.
And if people were obviously looking to build their own contracts, whatever, where would you push them to try and maybe create the contracts and get the right kind of breakdown within the contract? Where'd you push them to educate themselves on it?
Honestly, I got mine from just experience. So
Right, okay.
as long as you know what you're worth, what the kind of agreement is with everything.
Yeah.
So as long as you have kind of the names, the deadlines, the payments, the copyright, and the revisions, that's all you really need.
Just breaking down like 5 key aspects of like date of delivery, what's expected from you and the client,
Exactly.
what's to be paid, and what you're filming and how many revisions, basically.
Exactly, because
That's pretty much it.
that's it. It's so simple, and it's kind of like both of you know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
You know.
Sweet. So I've seen you've also done a bit of DPing as well.
That's right. I shot a music video called Norwegian Wood for a band
Oh,
called
I've seen
Picture
that. Yeah,
Parlor.
it's sick.
Yeah,
That is
thank
sick.
you, man. Thank
Sick.
you. And that actually recently got a mention in NME. It was, well, I say a mention. It was the front cover.
No, just a little front cover kind of
Not like that.
flex. I was on the front cover.
Yeah, my name in big bold letters. Fuck everybody else. But no, I'm joking. So that was awesome. I just got hired from, well, Kieran actually, because we're friends again now. We had a little bit of a hiatus.
Cuties.
Yes. Honestly, if I wasn't planning on getting married,
Yeah.
To my partner, I'd probably marry him. But
Oh, that's lovely.
he's my boy, like,
It's approved now in this country for many years.
Exactly. And we'd like to keep an open mind. But what was the question? Sorry.
So you've done some DPing.
That's
You're talking
right.
about the Norwegian Wood one.
Yeah, so someone reached out to Kieran. Kieran was busy, so Kieran messaged me and said, "Oh, do you want to do this?" I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure, yeah, it's fine. 500 quid." So, yeah, they paid all my travel and everything, and paid me a bit extra than 500. But
So was that the first time you DP'd, or have you DP'd before? So DP'd, tell people if they don't know what DP stands for and
Sure.
what it basically is.
So it's DP or DOP, which means director of photography. So it's the camera operator, more or less. And they work very closely with the director to be able to achieve the same goal.
Thank you for doing that.
My pleasure.
Carry on with your little story.
I'm like fucking Wikipedia, but yeah, that was absolutely phenomenal. We had a convoy of vans. We shut down a petrol station to be able to shoot, and well, they
And where was the shoot? Sorry.
Forest of Dean.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all inbreds up there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it fucking smells of it.
Colford as well. So you DP'd. What was that like? Was that your first time DPing?
Professionally DPing, yeah.
Would you like shit in a brick?
Not at all. No,
No,
the director send over everything. This is kind of the shot list that we want. These are the references.
Yeah.
This is what I want to get. But and we talked through it on the day, and we were going back and forth because obviously it was his first time directing, and I've been doing it a long time as well.
Oh,
so
right, okay.
we kind of worked together, kind of got his goal and a bit extra.
So maybe because you have that professional attitude and you bring that professionalism into your actual own work, maybe you kind of flowed into it quite nicely. You wasn't like thrown straight in from the deep end from just being a guy with his camera filming local artists to, what I'd say. Would you say a big time artist, or they're like semi-pro kind of?
It was actually their first music video for their first song that they released.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, but they have a massive kind of following already in London.
Oh, sick.
Just all through word of mouth, and it was really impressive. And all of the band members were fucking so welcoming and loving and funny. I really enjoyed my time working with all.
So talk me for a day on set on that particular job as a DP. Like how many people you got on site? Like what's the kind of process for the whole day really?
So it's literally just me, the band or the client,
right, okay.
And the director for this particular shoot. I made my way to Cardiff. They picked me up from Cardiff because they're London based, so we kind of met in the middle. We went to the Forest of Dean together. Yeah, and it was just us as a group. I think there was 4 or 5 band members and the fucking director. I was, on my way to the Forest of Dean. I was just checking through the shot list, making sure I know exactly what I'm going to do that day.
Yeah.
And we got to location. I spoke with the director saying, okay, so that we can frame it like this instead of like this, and stuff like that, and it worked out phenomenal.
And did you use your equipment for that particular shoot?
Yeah, entirely mine.
And I know some people do it. Did you? Obviously, we spoke about it previously. They're paying, like, say, for example, £1,000 just for you and your experience. Do you then add on an extra cost for your equipment as well? Or are you just kind of like a nice guy, so you just kind of include it in the bundle?
It really depends. It really depends. If I'm there multiple days in kind of, I don't know, like a desert or something, that's going to jeopardize my gear. You know, that's going to get into my lens. That's going to get into my sensor and stuff like that. So then I have to be like, okay, I'll need to add this on because of this.
Okay, I get you.
That way I can pay camera insurance and make sure that everything is covered then.
So do you think, where you price yourself, do you kind of just do it all as a bundle? Because I know some people suggest that they're technically paying for your experience and how to operate that camera, And then a lot of people then, so what they'll do like their day fees, and then they'll do like what they call like a production cost or like a production rate. So then what I've seen people do, they'll say they take the cost of their camera, which is like £3,000, and it'll last them 5 years. They'll take 3,000 and then divide it over 5 years, and then they'll work out how long the shoot's going to be. Say if it's like a week, they'll then take, I don't know, if it's like £7.50, they'll take that and include it into the production cost, but then they'll work out every individual bit of equipment. Do you agree with that process, or you just kind of...
I do, if you want to be very kind of
meticulous.
Yeah, very, very. I just haven't got fucking time to do.
The reason I ask is obviously you got a high end camera, so you just don't want like that thing kind of happening to you.
Yeah, exactly. And going back to cameras as well, you don't necessarily need a camera that can shoot 8K or even 4K for that matter. My cinema camera shoots upscaled to 4K 1080p.
Oh, right, so
very clean, very sharp, very, very low file sizes, and it's in log as well. So
the thing is, you got to remember, if you're getting like these 8K cameras, you then need a computer that can deal with 8K footage. That's not forgetting, then you need more like a terabyte of footage just for one shoot.
Exactly,
because I know the DJI 3 Cine, it shoots that Apple ProRes.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Apparently, it absolutely chews through memory because it's so powerful.
Yeah.
So back to DP. You've done that DP. Have you done any more since, or are you looking to maybe go down like the route of a DP, or are you kind of staying as Aiden Thomas?
Yeah.
The music cinematographer.
Yeah. I see myself as a filmmaker, so I like to do everything. I want to be in control of everything.
Yeah.
Lighting, shots, grading, cut, sequence, everything.
Okay.
I'm in charge of all of that. And
so you like being, having creative control over everything. You would still maybe do the DP stuff, but you like the fact that you can take the footage home and then color it yourself and then edit it the way you want.
Exactly. Sometimes if I, with a Norwegian wood shoot, I sent them everything that was done, but then I edited the music video myself as well. Right, I think
you've done like an editor's cut or like a director's cut.
That's right. Yeah.
So that was basically your own spin on like what you thought it should look like, or what you would like it to look like. But obviously, them being the clients, they had their own input.
Exactly, and I wasn't the editor I wasn't hired as the editor for that project, so I was.
So they had a separate editor as well. Right, then. Yeah. So then you were like putting all these visions together, but then they could technically get cut from the actual video and you'd be fuming.
Yeah.
Did you come across that, or were you like, oh, why did they leave that shot out? Why did they not put this particular one in?
Yeah, I mean, well, it just wasn't edited the way I kind of would have edited it, Okay. I'm really happy with the way I did it. But I guess that's just me being me.
Because I guess when you're filming it, the best way to they always say to film is film it how you want it to be edited. Yes. So you're filming it in the camera, whether you're doing like a typical whip pan or whatever, the next shot you come into is a whip pan from the left to the...
Exactly.
So you're filming everything you want in camera, but then theoretically you're filming it the way you want to work in your edit, but then this other bloke or lady's getting their hands on it and completely
changing it, yeah.
Not messing it up, but they're changing what the whole feel of the filming and your skills are doing to create that kind of content.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's that's why I just do the editor's cut or the director's cut or something like that. When I'm adding it to my portfolio, I mean, it could have like, I don't know, 1 million views or something like that, but that's not the way I would do it. If you're hiring me for that edit.
Yeah, and are you having to request permission, or because you filmed it, you still got that those rights, or do you request the artist permission to suppose you just check it out?
I'll do it myself. Yeah.
Oh, fair. What I was going to say is, I also saw on your Instagram you've got some mentions of Volkswagen, Sidemen Clothing.
That's right.
Moment. Let's talk through those. So, are they kind of clients or companies that you've worked for or worked with?
The first couple are. I'm actually partnered with Moment.
Right. Okay. So let everybody know what Moment is.
Of course. So Moment is a online store that you can buy any kind of gear from. They sell like camera bags, they sell filters and cameras and stuff like that. Yeah, they're phenomenal.
I first came across Moment like 5 years ago because when I was trying to get into like the filmmaking kind of thing, they do really good phone cases for any kind of phone, but then they do professional little mini lenses that you can then clip onto your phone case. So then you can maybe take your phone the next level of like cinematography or whatever.
Yeah, you can get like
Just
anamorphic lenses
yeah, they're
for
class.
it. Yeah.
So they do all that kind of stuff. How do you become partners with them? Then? Did they find you through maybe you using their stuff and then you were tagging them, or like how did that work?
I've only ever bought one thing from them,
Right,
and
just
I say bought, they sent it to me, but it was a Cine Bloom filter,
right, okay,
20%.
yeah, yeah.
Fucking go buy it. Use my discount code; it's in the description. But for like 20% off or something,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
people
sick.
want that. But yeah. Oh god, I don't even remember how it came about. I think I emailed them, or they was watching my stuff, and I messaged them, and they've got quite a good social media team, so they're
Yeah,
quite
like
responsive.
they just blew up out of nowhere, and they were just kind of like taking over like the YouTube content creation world for a while.
Yeah,
But yeah, some of their products and stuff they're incredible, especially like their
so
bags
good.
and stuff. So do you use any of their products now, like actually on your shoots, or
If I
they do
know,
good glass as well, don't
yeah,
they? I
very
say
good glass.
not glass, but your filters and stuff like that.
Of course, yeah. So the only thing I have for a moment is that Cine Bloom 20% filter, and
So what is this? What is that filter? Is it like a mist kind of filter? Was it due to what
yeah,
effect does it give your camera
it
or the
just really
footage?
blooms highlights,
Right. Okay.
really soften skin tones, make everything dreamy, and it's actually the most recent video that I shot that I'll show you after this finishes. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's just I live
And
and
it does
die
it
by
give it
that.
that like kind of cinematic look.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very. It creates just this kind of like natural haze. Yeah, and it's just such a fun thing
And
to
how much
use.
is that lens if someone's looking to buy it? Is it quite reasonable?
Oh, I think it was maybe like $120, something like
Because
that.
they're almost like a shortcut to get that like cinema camera look, aren't they?
Of
Because
course, yeah.
I've got a cheaper alternative. I don't even know what the brand is, but it's like a mist quarter lens.
Oh, like a Promise kind of
Yeah,
Tiffin.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a tip. It's like a cheap one though, but it gives you those glows in the highlights and stuff like that to make it just looks creamy.
Or you can just buy a CPL filter and put
Okay.
like a sandwich bag over the
Oh, okay.
front of that. Or
That's a hack.
yeah.
Sandwich
Or
bag.
or if you wanted that kind of like super soft look around the edges or something, just get a CPL and put Vaseline on the side of it.
There's another one.
Very
Tips.
cheap.
We'll cut these up and put these into little tips and reels and stuff like that.
Damn straight.
So yeah, you got the motion stuff. Do you work with them much anymore now, or you just kind of?
No,
And
it's
is it like
just,
affiliated link?
yeah, affiliated,
Oh, that's
affiliated,
pretty
yeah.
sick. Any kickback from there? A little bit.
A little bit there, here and there.
And then obviously you got the Sidemen clothing. Talk to me about that.
So Con messaged me.
Oh, the guy that edits it all.
Shoots it, but yeah, this
Yeah,
as well. But
I
they
say
have
edits, but like the actual guy behind the camera that sorts all the stuff out.
that's right, yeah. So he reached out to me and said, "Yo, so I know you're starting and things like that. I have this footage of the Sidemen clothing commercial
Oh, sick.
that we shot to kind of launch their new thing. Do you want the footage?"
So
Fuck yeah.
he reached out and found you, did he? Oh, you jammy bastard. So I need something like that every now and then. So that you got to work with those guys then?
That's
Or
right,
you work
yeah,
for
yeah.
that clothing company.
That's right. I just got to edit it kind of the way I wanted
Do
to.
you have much kickback from that? Have you gained?
Um,
Do you think like you've gained any more clients or anything from that, or is it just
Not necessarily, but it's definitely a talking point that people bring up. They're like, "Oh my god, you
like
work
a
with
little?
Sidemen." It's like
Yes.
kind of.
Yeah,
It's
check me.
exactly
Well, the thing
fly
is,
as fuck.
I'm 31, you're 24, so they're more your kind of age, kind of
Yeah,
really, isn't they?
yes and no. I mean, I kind of grew up with watching the Sidemen, but they're about 30 now as well.
We're all getting old. I got the greys. Maybe you got some greys under that hat. You just hiding it. I don't know.
My partner had to pluck a few out this morning.
Did
I'm
she?
not gonna lie.
So
Yeah.
you've done the Cyberman Club. You've got the motion kind of affiliate thing. The Volkswagen and BMW. What's that all about?
I just reached out to them and I said, I really fuck with your cars.
Yeah.
Can I shoot? And I said, yeah.
Well, you went down to like maybe like a.
Oh no, Instagram.
Oh, okay, you actually shot one of their. Did you go to like a track day or anything to shoot their cars, or did you have one of your own cars, or like
I just had one of my own cars.
Oh, fair. And then what they put that on their story, did they?
Yeah. I mean, Volkswagen put it on their actual grid, Volkswagen UK,
Sick.
on their profile, I guess.
So that's the thing. So you reached out to them. How many other companies have you reached out to? Obviously, for people trying to maybe they're thinking, I want to shoot content for these big companies. Would you say just shoot the content and then not give it to them, but post it and tag them into it and hope they see it? Or would you say reach out to them first and say, look, I've got this, I use your product regularly. Do you mind if I shoot you a video, and if you enjoy it, will you post it on my behalf?
I would definitely say reach out first,
Yeah.
but if you really want to do it, it doesn't matter what the fuck they say.
Yeah.
You know, because you can shoot a spec commercial or a product commercial for anything that you want. It doesn't, you know, you don't necessarily need the permission. It's just kind of courteous to do it.
Yeah.
So personally, I would reach out first, wait for a couple of days. If they don't reply, fuck it, do it anyway.
And what kind of avenues are you going down to reach out? Are you going down like the whole LinkedIn, or are you just going straight up on their Instagram?
Fuck LinkedIn. It's so weird to operate, but you know,
That's where you get like the actual Misha who works at managing people, who's in charge of marketing at like UK.
Marvel or something like that.
You know what I mean? That's where you find the actual person who's like, you know, the boss man at the actual kind of place. Where you just go straight up Instagram?
Straight up Instagram, straight away. And if I don't get a response, I'll just pester them.
Oh, until you get a response.
Until I get a response.
Because I've sat down many a times, just gone through like bars, cafes, restaurants, just like in message, nothing.
Yeah.
But you just keep going.
Yeah. Or call them.
Oh, fair.
If they're local and it's a UK number.
How do you find the cold calling? Good. Or you're offering like a free concept, so usually they like bite your hand off of it.
Talk sales first.
Yeah.
In the sense of, I can drive your sales by doing this. I've seen your Airbnb. I've seen your cafe. I think they're great. But I can boost your sales by doing this. I can make it look like this.
So you're pitching a concept from first, but then are you ultimately trying to maybe earn a bit of money off it, or are you just kind of thinking this will look sick on the CV?
Both.
Yeah.
As long as I'm getting paid for it, I'm happy to have it. But yeah.
So fair. So lastly, before you head off on your other adventures, kind of what new projects you got in the line for you? What's coming next for Aiden?
I've got quite a few, but the one I'm most looking forward to, I've got a couple I'm looking forward to. I mean, October's quite a busy month. I mean, I'm in Spain shooting, and then I'm flying straight from Spain to Amsterdam for a week to shoot.
Right, well,
and then,
why are you going to these places? We need to know.
Right, okay, yeah. So I'm shooting a it's called BGC, which is Boys Girls Clubs of Wales.
Right,
it's like a charity, and they've asked me to come out and shoot.
Oh, nice.
You know, while they're playing in Spain, and then I've got. So
you're stepping away from the music a little bit.
Only
a smidgen.
Yeah. Like I said, it you know, I shoot what comes when it comes. You know, but and then I'm shooting a festival. I say festival. It's like a kind of event in Amsterdam.
Nice.
But in September, I'm starting to shoot a short film for a couple of friends of mine that I've worked with them before. They've got like a good couple 100,000, or even
nice.
someone on their other channels has got a couple million subscribers. So they've
what's the short film going to be about if you can't give too much away?
It's kind of aesthetic wise, kind of like The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings.
Okay. Where are you shooting it?
They haven't given me a location, but they said very fucking far.
So what, plane far?
Potentially.
Is that the one you're looking forward to most then?
I think so, yeah. I think it's different because eventually, you know, the way that I shoot my music videos, I want them to look like films. I want to shoot film. Yeah. You know, movies.
So is that your end goal? Go into more films kind of stuff?
That's right, yeah.
Short films or like big
fucking feature films, yeah.
Big sick ass film. Mm-hmm. And what is it, like as a cameraman or like DOP or director, or
if I could do it all myself, I'd do it. But
yeah, well, they are starting to do that a bit more, obviously, with the Netflix kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So that's one thing I wanted to touch on as well.
Yeah,
people always say that, I need a Netflix approved camera. Mm-hmm. You don't need a Netflix approved camera.
But...
You say that, right? Okay, so can I ask why you?
Well, no, I don't say that. If I was to buy a camera, one of my buying points for a particular camera is because it is approved by the Netflix body. I wouldn't necessarily have to have that camera. Mm-hmm. It's just the fact that if I was to then maybe be rented as a person, or I can rent my camera equipment out to that particular body, or they can...
You can use that as a selling point.
Yeah. They can use me as... I can be used as... Making no sense at all. Basically, if I bought that camera, I could then be hired onto a shoot that might be with the top end Netflix stuff.
Sure.
But also, which is a bit silly, it also might push me to think, well, fuck me, if I've got this camera in my camera bag that can technically produce a Netflix film, why ain't I getting off my arse and going to shoot some sick stuff? Does that make sense?
Sure, okay, yeah. Use it as motivation and kind of inspiration and just that little push. But Netflix only approved cameras for when they're hiring someone. If you're going to sell something to Netflix, it doesn't need
Okay.
to be a Netflix approved camera.
So you can
You can
use
use any
anything.
camera as long as it meets a certain criteria, like 422 color
Yeah.
space,
Yeah. Got you.
you know, log, or something like that. So for independent filmmakers that wanted to sell something to Netflix,
Yeah.
you can use any fucking camera as long as it shoots within a certain criteria, and it doesn't have to be Netflix approved.
What kind of camera would you suggest anyone trying to get into this industry to just to a little
It depends what
size
you want to
camera?
go for, but don't go for a cinema camera immediately. Learn the basics of a camera and how it operates
Yeah.
first. You don't need internal, built-in ND filters that are automatic or something like that. You don't need fucking just a massive cinema camera just because it looks cool. You can use any camera and make anything look
Yeah.
good.
Because like phones are really good these days. However, they don't have.
They're not a camera.
Yeah, they're not a camera. They don't have the basics you need to learn of ISO, shutter, frames, and stuff. If you just if you spent £500 on a camera that had all those different aspects, then you'd be able to nail down settings, and then you'd feel more comfortable then going on to a shoot in later life and actually getting your hands on a proper cinema camera then.
Of course, yeah. It's all about evolution. As long as you know what you're doing, there's no point buying a fucking, I don't know, 40 grand red camera.
Yeah, can you imagine Komodo?
Komodo, red Komodo, exactly. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
you don't need that if you haven't got a fucking clue what you're doing.
So finally, what is your next couple of months looking like? Obviously, off to Amsterdam. You're going to do that short film. Anything else in the pipeline?
I've got a couple of stuff, but they're mainly music videos. I've got a couple of music videos. No one huge. I'm going back up to Margate. I shot a music video for an artist called Mike Righteous.
Right, okay.
About 2 years ago
I think
now.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's about 300k views.
Yeah, sick.
But we're going back up there to, shoot some more. And I'm waiting for, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, and hopefully they don't see it, but...
Well, you can let me know and I'll bleep it.
Okay. Yeah, actually, yeah, if you could, please. I'm waiting for the manager to reach out to me with a new song.
Nice.
After he releases the one with I think today, to do a treatment for this music video that I get to shoot.
So you'll be looking to shoot that, would you?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's a plug. Hopefully we can keep that in here. I can reel that right up. So you got some exciting things ahead of you then in the future then?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you going to still stay as a one-man band, or are you going to try to maybe... Would you actually look to build like a production company that was obviously under you?
I've thought about it, but it's just easier to do it myself because I know what's going on.
Yeah.
You don't have to kind of relay everything to every single person that's on that set. Then it's just me and the client and whoever else is there. But if the budget is needed for a crew, obviously I'm going to have to bump it up to like, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 grand for a video, because I have to pay those people too,
Yeah, because I remember once before I had someone come to me, a client, and they wanted like a full-on, like 2 weeks of shooting production. I remember putting the budget together vastly, so I went full-on videographer, soundy, lightest and everything, and the budget come to like 35 grand. I was like, you don't really know how much it comes to, like, because, a day rate for me might be like a grand or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you start adding all these other people on, and like so many different days, it starts going up and up and up.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what I mean. If you're a client that's looking for a budget, if you're a client that has a budget, you can't skimp out on people if it's needed. You can't just get, oh, my friend can hold a light. Well, no, you need a professional fucking lighting tech to be able to achieve.
And you got to rent the equipment for it as well.
Exactly.
You need it all. So thanks for coming on. I'd
Pleasure.
like to say that. It's lovely meeting you. First time I've actually met you.
Yes, it is, yeah.
If people want to find you and find your content and maybe reach out to maybe book you, might get a client for this, where can they go and find you?
So just mainly on Instagram, really, is Aiden Thomas UK. Kind of all of my links are in the bio of my Instagram, as well as my credits, and you can see all of my content throughout my page as well.
Presets.
And my preset, go buy them.
So yeah, mate, thanks very much for coming on.
My pleasure.
It's been a pleasure meeting you. We've done nearly an hour. I think we've covered many of topic. It's been great for me to learn a bit more about the music kind of video industry. I wish you a lot of good luck. Well, not luck. You're doing well yourself. So
Thank you, man.
Good luck. Smash it. Thanks for coming on.
Pleasure. Thank
Cheers.
you.